I'm uh, I'm making this video in response to Josh and Jace. For Josh, I'll tag you. I'm hoping you see it. Please let me know if you do. Um, Hi, I'm Judy. I'm 63 and I live in New Jersey on the East Coast. You really should do Jersey because we have mountains, we have beaches, we have forests. We have like swampy areas. We have the Pine Barrens. Ooh, and the Jersey Devil in the Pine Barrens. But I want to let you know I had a bad thing with fear of heights. And I'm going to tell you very quickly how bad. And before I do that, no, the bridge did not beat you. You stepped your foot on the bridge. You got in the vehicle, you drove across the bridge. You got inside, you climbed. You got on that elevator, which I am imagining is much like a mine elevator. Um, very tight. Um, or like for caves, going down into caves like a colossal cave or Karster Caverns or something. The elevators, are not your normal elevator. It did not beat you. You got up when they showed that view of Jace looking out over, and you're just like in a semi-fetal position, clinging just to the face down. You don't even pick your face up. You're like glued yourself to the floor. Um, I get that. Okay. And when you said at least I'm not a claustrophobic, I was both. Yeah. I was both. Yeah, I said was. I lived in Arizona for 32 years, born here in New Jersey. Yes, Tucson, Arizona. That's another state that's just the animals, the plants, the topography, the Sonoran Desert. There's cactus, there's plant life and animal life that you cannot find in any other desert. You know how Australia, there's just you can find other deserts, other landscape like it, but the animals and the plants, there's so many of them that are just indigenous to that area, and that's it. There's some of them aren't even in New Zealand, they're in Australia, that's it. Um, the Sonoran Desert in Arizona is much like that. Um, the most spectacular electrical storms. Oh my God, sunsets. The colors. Oh, the vividness of those colors is just wow. Not even kidding. Um, but I had both fear of heights and fear of small spaces, prolonged small space. I mean, I can get through a place, but in there for a few minutes, it's like, you know, I worked as a corrections officer in the men's prisons, not the jails, the prisons for a decade. You know, like the prisons where some of them have like the guard towers and you have to go up the 50-foot guard tower. There's no elevator, by the way. It's stairs. You got to walk up inside 50 feet and you have to be in that your entire shift. But there's a bathroom in there and everything, and you have to be on the catwalk when there's traffic in the Sallyport with your a handgun on your holster and on your hip. You have a rifle, and there's a shotgun up there, but just as like a last resort thing. Um, that's a confined space coming up the stairs. Um, Sorry, my allergies are starting to my sinuses are starting to drain, my bad. Um, but you had to climb up the whole 50 feet. And it was an open spiral staircase type thing. So yeah, I wasn't even closed in like the elevator. You just have to kind of be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You actually had to do the walking. So you had to have your eyes open type of thing. And then you're stuck up there for 8 hours. And then after all that, you got to come back down. I was up there in an electrical storm and I watched the two towns go dark. And the next crack, yeah, the town went dark. The town right before us. And then the prison, the grounds went. And I'm out there on the catwalk and I'm just like, it's total darkness. All the exterior lights, everything. But we have major backup. And about 30 seconds, not even, I got a call and it was the captain. And he gave me orders that I was to be outside because it was covered on the catwalk, locked and loaded until the emergency kicked on. And all the towers had to do that. All the patrols had to be constant. They couldn't even park and observe. They had to keep driving, because we had no idea what was, who was going to take advantage of what. Um, Being up in a place like that where you couldn't get away, and they're not that big. You've seen the movies and stuff. That's exactly what they look like. Yeah. Also, at that job, sometimes I'd be on the yard and I'd be assigned or a work crew or something. And I had to take when they had to look at all the go on all the roofs, and there's different work crews. They had to take the inmate workers and go up on the roofs, and they had to change because they had evaporative coolers and stuff. So I had to change, maintenance stuff like that. And as the officer with them, you have to go with them. Yeah. You have to follow them up, and then you have to be the first down, and so they don't run off. Yeah. And when they put me on the work crew, I didn't want to. I admit it. I didn't want to because I was a female working in that job. When there was a class of 53 of us, there was three, or no, five were females. You can't show newness. Even if you were a guy, you couldn't. And so I couldn't be afraid, and I was terrified. Josh, you'll understand when some people might be laughing and be like, oh, poor Josh, when you were laying when you couldn't get up, and you said, no, you don't understand. I can't. I physically, my body won't let me. My legs will not. I can't stand up. They're shaking too much. I can't stand. I get that. I do get that. Because I went up the ladder. Now, going up ladders, going up things isn't bad for me. And you'd think if you're afraid of heights, you're going up, or the higher you go, the worse it is. That's good because you can't see. You're not facing. But when you're coming down, yeah, you got to see how far down before you're where you got to feel the ground. You got to be observed. You got to see. And that's a problem if you're afraid, We got everything done. Everything was cool. It was hot as fuck up there. Remember, it's Arizona. And then we had to go down, go to the next. And I was having a hard time. They're like, hey, man, you got to go down first. You come on, we're supposed to be. Finally, I took a gamble because it was all guys, guy inmates. And finally I said, I swear to God, if any of you fuckers laugh I'll shoot you. I did say something to that effect. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you if if you laugh. But I am terrified of heights. And they're like, "You, what you got up there? You can come down. We didn't even think you were. We just thought maybe you didn't feel good or something." They said, "You can't," and I'm like, "No, you don't get it. If you don't have it, you don't understand it. So just give me a second." And one of the guys spoke up after a few seconds, and he goes, "My sister's like that." He goes, can I talk to you?" So I'm like, "Oh, fuck." I mean, I'm the officer. There's certain lines, for the future and shit. But I was having a problem, dude. Much like you, you're like, "Oh, fuck, I'm filming this. The entire planet is gonna see me laying up here like a big old puss. I can't even stand up." I'm sure thoughts like that have gone through your mind either then or since. It can't be much worse than being the corrections officer who's telling the work crew of inmates that you're afraid of heights and that you're stuck up on the roof. And yeah, that happened before I was working in a unit that had towers, because not all the units have towers. Like if it's a medium, or low uh, security unit, doesn't necessarily have towers that are officers, just the entrance tower, which is just, they have a log of everybody that went in, even civilian and stuff. um I do get it, and he told me, first of all, don't go that way, you go backwards, just like the same positions when you're going up. So you're going to have your front always to the ladder. And then he just told me, just act like you're going up, but you're going down. Just don't think about it. And everybody was really quiet. They weren't chattering or anything. They didn't want to distract me. And I was worried that it would show, and that was early in, like, the first several months that happened. And I was concerned that would show the inmates that I could, even though you know that they know that you're human, so all humans are afraid of something, type of thing. I took a gamble, but I was kind of fucking stuck. How I had no way to explain it except the truth, and they would know I was lying, because what else would it be? It's just this, and not one of them laughed. In fact, when I finally got down, I was like, "All right, let's go. Come on." And I swear to God, not one of you better say a fucking word. I was kind of smirking, and they're all kind of like, so it actually let them know that I'm not on a power trip. I'm a human fucking being. And in some situations, sometimes you're not the teacher and the student, or the boss and the, employee, or the officer and the inmate. Sometimes on some things, sometimes it's just a people thing, and that actually gave them more respect for me. And it was weird. It was weird because they trusted me more when they knew that I had flaws and I wasn't going to lie to try to cover up that I don't. So I thought right then that I was done. The inmates are going to know. They're going to know that, like you're laying there going, "Everybody fucking knows I'm a big puss now. It beat me." Mm-mm. It did not beat you, Josh. In fact, you said, "You fear. Screw you, phobia." And I think if you weren't being filmed, you may not have gone that far. I think you were really, really pushing yourself. You really wanted to do that. I think not just for you, but to show us and encourage anybody else that that's afraid, that is that afraid of heights. So what you think you did the opposite. You've actually gave people being like, okay, so he did it in front of everybody, and the guys, they were like trying not to feel uncomfortable because they were just like, hey, let him do his thing. You didn't see them chuckling or anything. They're like, they probably were like, yeah, well, I get you. It is kind of fucking high, you know. So, dude, man, you're whipping its ass. And I'm not saying I never have any vestiges. Same thing happened when in close spots. When I was kind of forced and I couldn't panic. Um, you learn very quickly that sometimes those little tiny closed places can be your biggest friend, especially when you're trying to avoid something or somebody. Same thing with heights. Sometimes going up is the best thing you can do. The fact that you walked through those little openings, that you stayed in that elevator without losing it and freaking out without us hearing, oh, you know, the fact that you actually got your entire body out of the hatchway. It didn't beat you, dude. You just didn't stand up because your legs were shaking too much. I'm sure you wanted to stand up, but you can't blame your legs just saying, I am terrified. You can't blame you for your legs saying, nope, I'm noping out of this. I know how this ends, and I'm the first ones to get broke. I get it, your legs were done. And it's that kind of walking, if you're not used to walking up like that so high, even a little bit. I learned that with the tower thing. My legs, oh, my quads were so sore. And then it was an hour and a half driving home. I had to stop a few times because they cramped up so bad. My back of my thighs. Oh my God. And it was from climbing up and down that damn thing. So, yeah, it didn't beat you, man. You whipped its ass. It was just your legs that had a siesta. Your legs just had a little nap. The rest of you wanted to stand up and look out. You did really good.